edition of Schmoedown Night in Canada, and boy, do we have a show for you. Once again, I'm your friendly neighborhood Soda, here helming the ship, and my first mate today is none other than our producer, Dave. How you doing, Dave?
Avast! Our first mate Dave reporting for duty.
Yes, I may or may not have recently watched the Pirates episode of Mythbusters. I've been watching a lot of Mythbusters lately. That's kind of on the brain. Rest in peace, Grant Imahara. Speaking of which, I noticed something. Does Alex Damon not remind you of, like, Grant Imahara? Kind of looks a little bit like him, and he even sounds like him. Think about that the next time you watch Alex play.
Huh.
Yeah.
No, I totally see it.
Yeah. It was, that's, my mind goes into weird places sometimes when I live alone. Anyways, I should be laughing now.
1 minute in, Soda's already broken me, people. 1 minute. Took 45 last time.
Yes. That episode hasn't aired yet, Dave. Anywho, so fuck.
Let's restart.
No. Let's keep that in. Come on.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyways, so the first match of the week, we had Chance the Cobra Ellison versus none other than the Barbarian, who actually found out how to pronounce his last name this week, which I thought was fun. Gagne.
I believe it's Barbarian, first name The.
Yes, kayfabe. Gotcha. And his trusty sidekick, Elvis. Now, I really enjoyed that Barbarian played the match in his kitchen. That was hysterical to me.
He's hungry for that victory, Soda. Sometimes you gotta get there. If I could do every show from the kitchen, I probably would.
I'm about 5 feet from my kitchen, so close enough.
I'm not giving away the geography of my home, but I also really enjoyed him playing from his kitchen. And I gotta say, like, if Barbarian and Parker can't win Rookie of the Year, can Elvis?
He should. Elvis should definitely be in the running. Elvis is amazing.
I'd like to take this moment to fully support and throw my votes behind Elvis for Rookie of the Year.
I second it. Now, there's one thing I noticed now. I don't know if it's just me just noticing it now, but has the Barbarian always been good with his promos? Because he was the package as usual by Nerd Chronic was amazing, but I don't know. To me, it was Barbarian as the standout, talking about like the boxes of broken dreams and how he had one already for Parker and Ellison screwed that up, and yeah, I don't know. It struck a chord with me this week.
I think every time he plays, he gets better in every way, whether it's his accuracy and the amount of questions he's hitting, the commitment to Elvis, and the promo. Every time he's just stepping it up, which makes me so excited that we are going to get to see him coming up in the singles tournament and potentially teams tournament. Harloff was saying that.
Yeah, and I'm saying it now. I think he has the best entrance in the league, the Barbarian, coming up out of the shadows, and he does the hair flip and the whole. I don't know. To me, that just seems like it's a wrestler intro. Like it's the best one there is right now.
Yeah, and you know what? People are going to have to get pretty creative with their entrances if they're going to be voting for entrance of the year this year.
Yeah.
But right now, Barbarian definitely is in the running for the digital entrance of the year. But can I say, we're talking about Barbarian and his promo work. And I know that it was on the Facebook page, I believe, but I loved Chance's. Oh, you were expecting someone else. Just that little cocky head turn. I was like, he knows exactly what he's doing. And I've been a fan of Chance since he entered the league during the Korruption or the Anarchy tournament, I mean.
Yeah.
But man, this IG tournament has just made me such a fan of Chance. Everything he's doing, I'm just like fully behind him.
Yeah, I'm almost in the same boat as you. When Chance, it's the same with Oyama. When they entered the league, they were cocky and they hadn't earned it yet. Mm-hmm. Like, I understand they were playing a character or whatever, but that arrogance that they displayed rubbed me quite the wrong way. But now I don't know, I appreciate them more. And like you, this IG tournament has definitely turned me into a fan of Chance's.
Yeah, and Chance has always been someone who I think has had the knowledge to back it up. He's had like some character, but I think he's gotten overshadowed by Mike often, just because of how often, just because how big of a character Mike is, obviously. And Chance, unfortunately, always gets knocked out in the first round of the tournament, so we don't get to see him a lot.
Yeah, until now.
Until now, when we're seeing a lot of solo Chance, and I am all for solo Chance.
Oh yeah, 100%. So what were your takeaways from the match once the match started?
Well, the first main one here was another perfect first round for Chance. That's 2 out of 3. Just to skip ahead to the Kalinowski match, this week was the first time Kalinowski got a perfect first round in the tournament,
which surprised me.
Yeah, exactly. But Chance, he's just knocking them out, fighting his way through heroes and villains. I just want to stick with that. Another perfect round from Chance. He is becoming deadly across 3 leagues in the first round.
Oh yeah, and the beauty of it is he's young, so he's going to be a triple threat for many, many years to come.
Yeah. What about you? What were some of your standouts once the match got going?
Just really the back and forth. That's pretty much was the big standout for me. Like they were definitely going toe for toe. And honestly, Barbarian's 5-point question was probably the hardest 5-pointer I've ever seen. Like personally, like that one was tough.
Personally, I always still default to what is the name of Tony Stark's the arm in Iron Man, the 5-pointer that Mike got against Mara the first time.
That's it like Idiot or something?
It's the 2 of them are, one's dumb and the other one's E.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So, and it was like, what are their names? It's like, but he always just says, "Hey, dummy," but he's talking to both of them.
Oh, but, okay. Then I thought it was just talking to the one with the dumb.
I thought it was 2 of them, but I think if we're we're jumping around, it's free flow, it's jazz. Let's have some fun with it. I thought that was an easier 5-point question.
Really? See, I've never seen 300 Rise of an Empire. I might be one of the few who actually didn't like the first 300. So I honestly didn't know the answer. Like that just baffled me.
See, I think that's what it comes down to. I think once you've seen it, you know that it starts before and it goes all the way throughout. Mm-hmm. Also, it's giving 2 years of it said in the question. I don't have it right in front of me. It was this movie that came out in this year,
2014.
Exactly. So when Barbarian said X-Men: Days of Future Past, I was like, huh, that's very interesting. That's If it didn't have the years, that would also technically be a correct answer.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it was so. But I think once you've seen 300 and there's enough context clues, there's not a lot of movies. It might, the only ones I can think of off the top of my hand are Days of Future Past and Rise of an Empire that serve as all 3 of those. And it's giving you the 2 years. I assume he's a guy who's studied movie release dates for this. Ben Bateman often talks about how easy it is in IG in terms of movie release dates. And being on the same faction, I assume that that's something he is well aware of.
Mm-hmm. Now, as somebody who's never seen it, do you recommend 300 Rise of an Empire?
I recommend that you don't watch it. I think it makes the first movie worse.
And like I said, I wasn't a fan of the first movie. I guess, my thing is I don't like overly CG'd movies like that, where it's constantly against green screen. That's my biggest gripe of the prequels, is I don't know. It's too much for me.
No, that's totally fair. Not to make this is not the 300 podcast, but it seems like we always pitch podcasts when we're on a show together, don't we,
yes,
Soda?
We do.
But
yes. Coming up next, Comic Book Corner.
Oh, Soda, you have piqued my interest.
Yes.
But for a young Michael Fassbender, I'll watch that movie.
No, for sure. And truthfully, I haven't seen it since it came out, and a lot of my sensibilities about movies have changed in the last 14 years. So it probably is one I should probably check out again.
Our arrows will blot out the sun. Then we'll fight in the shade. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh.
And of course, I do remember that this is Sparta Kick and how every wet floor sign got transformed into that.
yes.
We were guilty of it working at A&W.
What did you think about Chance's decision to spin away from Middle Earth? We saw against Paulo Yama that he did very well in Middle Earth, and again, he's hit his Middle Earth questions that he's gotten in the first and the third round. Why do you think he's decided to spin away?
This is just speculation on my part, but I think it's because he wanted to prove that he's not a one-trick pony, to show that he has knowledge in other categories, and Heroes and Villains was a great place to showcase that. Yes, he gave up a 1 point, but he still did pretty damn good. So that's just what I'm thinking, is just like, hey, let's show them I can do other categories too.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I also think we talked about it on the show a little while ago about how that was getting pulled a lot by the Robert Parkers and the Mike Kalinowski's even, and Alex Damon, obviously. So the questions may have been starting to get really deep cut. I think that this match is despite not being the highest scoring match Chance has ever had, I think this is the first match that Chance has played in this tournament where I've thought, yeah, he could be the IG champion.
Okay. Yeah, no, he definitely proved his case here for that. Now, obviously, like, no spoilers, he's going to have a monumental challenge up ahead of him, but, anything is possible at this point.
No, I agree. And I think the reason I'm saying that is the mark of a true champion is not how you do when you are handed your strength. So it's not when Mike gets handed DCUU or Kevin Smets gets MCU or Robert Parker gets Lord of the Rings. When Chance gets Heroes versus Villains, which is one of the harder categories just because of how broad it is, and he still fights his way through with some multiple choice, but he still hits 4 or 5 and is able to get that 1 point steal back that he missed, so pretty much negating everything. That shows how he can scrap in what's called a defensive battle here.
Yeah, and again, just to go forward to the next match a little bit, Kalinowski did say the exact same thing in his promo about Alex. We all know he's good at what he knows, but it's how good he is with the stuff he doesn't know will show just what type of intergeekdom player he is. You nailed it right on the head there. Yeah,
and I think we'll get to that in a second. Barbarian, obviously, as we're kind of, again, it's jazz, it's free flow. Yeah. Barbarian here ends up losing, gets his first L of the year. What do you think about that? What does that do for his Rookie of the Year contention? And do you think that he is someone next season we could see come back in IG?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. He definitely has his place in IG. Honestly, I think he was a contender for Rookie of the Year, but I don't think it was ever his to win. I think that belonged more to the Goddards and the Parkers and what have you. So I don't know. I don't think it really hurt his chances too much, to be honest. But yeah, he'll definitely be back in IG. And I just want to say I love the touch that he gave when he did his entrance, where he kissed his late wife's ring. I thought that was kind of sweet.
Yeah, that breaks my heart every time. Yeah. I'm just seeing this really shows how strong and how supportive the Schmoedown is for some people, because obviously in such quick succession, both he and Paul Preston at the end of last year going through similar tragedies, but being able to put yourself into something like this must be extremely beneficial, and all the thoughts and prayers in the world, obviously, for Craig and his family as they deal with this. And I'm glad that he's been able to channel it, and not only channel it, but channel it in a dominant fashion.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I have,
his wife always by his side.
Yeah. And I honestly, I don't want to dwell on this too much, because I feel like every week, either me and you, or you and Lou, or me and Lou are talking about this. But I really do think, even with this loss, Barbarian will still be Rookie of the Year.
Okay,
goes farther in the IG tournament than both Goddard and and Parker. Goddard's not in the singles tournament, so unless he makes a strong teams run, it's similar to how Rachel Cushing has a really dominant first half of the year, and then when Player of the Year voting comes around, nobody's voting for her because it's like unfortunately, the community at large has a very big recency bias when it comes to things like this.
And you're not wrong. That's not just Schmoedown. That's across all sports. It's basically a "what have you done for me now" mentality.
Exactly.
And it's kind of shitty. Now, granted, it almost led to Sam Levine to being Player of the Year, even though he retired halfway through the year. So,
I think he did win that.
Did he win?
Yeah, he won that year. Yeah, he won that year.
You know what? He shouldn't have won.
No, I didn't vote for him.
Yeah, me neither. I can't remember who I voted for, but
neither can I.
My glasses are crooked. I don't know. I've never been a fan of people like leaving, like not playing the whole year and still being nominated for.
Well, nominated, I'm fine with.
Nominated, yeah, but it's a little different if like he played the back half of the year as opposed to the front. Like, the example I'm going to use, Mario Lemieux in 95? Yes, 95, 96.
Year of my birth.
Fuck, I'm old. Anyways, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he missed a good couple months of the year, and he came back and stormed back and won the points race that year. And I think he won the Hart Trophy. Now, in an instance like that, where you prove your dominance at the end of the year, for only part of the year towards the end, I think that's more appropriate. But if you're only playing the first half and you don't, I don't know. It's just this weird thing in my head. I don't think he should have been nominated. Anyways, that's the end of my TED Talk.
Not here to relitigate the 2018 Player of the Year discussion.
Yeah.
All right.
Let go.
Never surrender.
Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts about Chance v. Barbarian?
None really. I'm excited to see Chance in the finals. I think it's long overdue. With all the hype he's had and all the bad luck that he had in previous matches, he's long overdue for this, and I'm excited to see how well he does.
No, me too. And I think this is another step for Korruption as they are climbing that ladder, getting into third. They were already in third place, but I believe with the Chance win, they tie Swag. And
was it the Chance win, or was it the match we're about to cover next?
They were at 17. It is the match they were about to. Oh no, sorry, they passed Swag with the match.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, we kind of buried the lead. The next match was the Star Wars champ himself, Alex the Demon Damon, versus Mike Killer Kalinowski. And you know what? I'm surprised by the outcome of this, to be honest.
Yeah, you and Lou were both saying that a couple weeks ago, and I have never understood that. I think Damon really showed off, and interesting fact, he's the only person sans Kevin Smets to start have a 3-0 IG run.
Yeah, but that's why the knockout surprised me. Now, granted, he had horrible luck with that DC category.
Oh,
but yeah, 9 points from Alex Damon, knocked out in the second round. Wouldn't have expected that.
No, and I think it's really. He talks in the pre-game and the post-game of his last match about how every match he is filling in a gap and saying, okay, I can claim that as a strength now. And it's obvious he is not filling in strengths alphabetically because these were some tough DC questions.
Oh, yeah.
But still, he struggled through it. But while I was watching the match, the person I was watching the match with, my lovely fiance, made a very interesting discovery about the round 2 multiple choice options.
Okay, what was the discovery?
The discovery was, so Alex Damon goes to multiple choice 4 out of 5 times.
Yep.
Right? Every single multiple choice correct answer was B.
Really?
Every single, and I rewound it. Every single one was B.
That's got to be coincidence, but that's a wild coincidence.
It's got to be a coincidence, but it's like when you're filling out a test and you go down the line and you're like, there's 6 D's in a row. That can't be right. And then your teacher hands it back and it's like, we can see you did it, but why'd you change it? It's like
wow.
Yeah,
didn't even notice. That's pretty impressive.
No, I didn't notice it either.
I will say I liked Damon's line in the first round when it was the Star Wars question. What movie did Han Solo say? I have a great feeling about this. I liked the little back and forth. Is like, if Alex misses, the game over. Is like, you can have my belt. I love that. Made me crack out loud.
Yeah, now let's rewind because we got to him getting knocked out and we kind of skipped to the end a little bit. I want to talk about just the Mike Kalinowski promo at the beginning and the back and forth between him and Roxy Stryer.
Woof.
But first,
Roxy, woof.
Yeah, and I've always enjoyed Roxy on whether it was SEN Live or Collider Live. Always enjoyed her as a personality. I watch her show, but I gotta say, if I was Alex Damon in this match, I would be demanding a trade after the way this was handled.
Yeah, and I love Roxy, and she's really good at giving it, just as good as she is at taking it. But there was just something about this seemed like she was playing it up too much. If that makes any sense.
No, I agree, and again, I love Roxy. Think she's fantastic. But even when Mike and Shannon aren't on screen, like when Alex is spinning the wheel, she's still bad mouthing, be like, oh, Mike's such a basic, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, this is the time where you should be talking to Alex and like reaffirming him. Like, he's down 10 points right now. He's down 12 points. He needs a great round 2 to stay in it. This is not the time to be bad mouthing someone who's not even here.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you. Normally Roxy is a great manager, but personally, I think this was her worst managerial effort. Mm-hmm. She, the back and forth banter with Mike, cool. You do that when you're on screen with Mike, but yeah, you're 100% right. You don't do it while your guy's down 10, and the wheel is spinning. There's a time and a place, and unfortunately, that was not it.
No, and I'd like to say, since we're saying the Mike thing, though, I loved Mike's promo at the beginning where they're like, how do you feel about Alex? And he's like, he's making all these mistakes. Well, he's got all these Indiana Jones props. I'm not going to give him Indiana Jones. He goes and kills it in the Lord of the Rings. I'm not going to give him that. He's played all his cards. We're on even levels here. He knows I'm a geek guy. I know he's a Star Wars guy. And I just love the energy and the dichotomy between him and Alex, who was just sitting there and like barely moves the whole time and just like, I'm excited to play. And I know he's a champ. He really, which I found disrespectful. Mark Riley is clearly Yoda.
Oh no, he's Yodi.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah. Is it mirrored? Has Mike's promos game take on to another level? Because he's good, but man,
you can tell. He played that one game in February, got to have that moment with Guy, then had to sit on the shelf for 3 months. He's back and he is loving every second of it. You can tell he's having so much fun. And Dan, who was on the show last week, really wanted us to mention that massive bowl of Fruit Loops that Mike ate during his promo.
Mike, you have to slow down. As somebody who comes from a family of diabetics, dude, just lay off. Hopefully it's plain cereal. There's no sugar involved, but ease up, man.
Now, I'm just curious. Obviously, the cereal's only on screen for maybe 40 seconds.
Yeah.
I like to imagine camera stops rolling and he's like, got a big bowl of cereal. Well, this is my afternoon. And he just starts eating it.
That's the dream. I miss those days of quarantine, kind of. Except for when I started going stir crazy and forgetting what day it was.
Yeah, that's no bueno, as the kids say.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, I'd like to take a second to talk about momentum here. As we've already spoiled it. Mike obviously crushes this, ends up knocking Alex out with a strong MCU category. DC is his bag, so he's able to pick up every steal that Alex misses, or except for the Constantine question.
Yeah, which you know what? I'm not going to fault him on because personally, I think Constantine is a pretty forgettable movie.
Sorry, what movie?
Constantine. I think it's a pretty forgettable movie.
Which one's that?
Yeah, exactly.
This is Soda. I was like, he's not yes-anding me. Please, Soda. This is improv. It's jazz, baby. Come on.
Yeah. If there's anybody who knows me, I cannot improv jazz, and I've been playing jazz for over 20 years.
Yeah. Anyway, so Mike throws a nearly perfect game here. Mm-hmm. Gets perfect if you don't count steals, because he gets
the first time too.
Yeah, he never checks the multiple choice. He gets the perfect full 10 points, gets all 11 points in the first round, picks up a steal in the second round. Picks up technically 2 steals with the one that gives him the knockout. But this is the best this season. This is the best Mike has ever played, because even in the family corruption match, he says it himself, like he was the worst player at that table. Mm. Mike, every game, because I went back and I checked the stats and stuff, he's getting better and better and better with each match. Wow. Now, Greg Alba and and Zipper definitely are playing very well against him. But Mike, better and better and better, where Chance has been hot the entire time. And now we get to this point in where they're going to collide. And who do you think will be served better? The person who's been ramping up or the person who's been burning hot this whole time?
I'd have to go probably with the person who's ramping up, because if you're running hot the whole time, there will come a point where you are gonna stall.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be a good match. Chance could easily take it. I could be wrong, but based on that, I think, because here's the thing. I'm gonna quote Apollo Creed from Rocky 3. I taught you. They're having the conversation, and Rocky's like, you taught me everything you know, and Apollo Creed says, almost. I taught you almost everything I know. I think that's the same situation here.
Yeah.
Mike's definitely got an advantage.
Yeah. It's like, you taught me everything I know. I didn't teach you everything I know.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
So, any final thoughts on Damon Kalinowski here? And so, actually, similar question that I had about the Barbarian. What do you see Alex Damon next season in IG? Do you think this is somewhere he'll stay?
Yeah. I mean, I think it is. That's because that's the thing about Star Wars, especially when you're a champ in any league, you don't play all that much. So I think it would be a good idea for him to continue in IG, just so he can get some more games under his belt, and he's not a once in a blue moon every once in a while player.
Yeah, I think this was the worst thing that could have happened for Ace. Because I think if Alex is having to worry about this, and say he gets to playing Smets at Spectacular, which I assume the winner of this tournament is going to play Smets or Chandru at Spectacular. If Damon's like, I've got to study for this, Ace is like, I'm just studying for Star Wars, baby. But now Damon's got 4 months to just be like, all right, Ace, let's see what you got.
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be that could probably be the sleeper hit of that card. Now, granted, we don't know the rest of the card, but that could be a Titanic collision. That one.
Too soon, Soda. Too soon. People died.
Yeah, may they rest in peace, Jack and Rose.
Oh, there was room. Rose. You could have rolled over.
Yes.
Anyway.
Okay, hold up. Yes, there was room, but buoyancy. They would have sunk the damn thing.
Soda, this is like...
That is a hill I'm going to die on.
Soda, I feel like this is the... I'm going on an IG journey here. This is the Amazing Spider-Man 2 of Schmoedown Night in Canada episodes, where we're just launching all kinds of new podcasts. We're going to have the Titanic Buoyancy Science podcast. We're going to have the 300 podcast, the comic book podcast. Yep. And this is how we destroy Schmoes of the North.
Yes, Louis is on sabbatical.
Oh, the inmates
Yeah.
are running the asylum. Okay,
Fuck. Now,
let's.
quick fun little fact about the Titanic: the town next to me, the guy who had the idea to incorporate it and make it a town died in first class on the Titanic. Boom. Charles M.
Okay.
Hayes. He was with founders of the Grand Pacific Railroad.
And to bring it back to IG, First Class, name of an X-Men movie. All right,
Yes.
so let's talk about it.
Oh, but
We know that the finals of the IG tournament now, and it's Kalinowski. It's corruption. The finals have been corrupted, to quote to quote something you said. But what do you think about that for like teammates? We've had faction members go against each other, and Bibbs and the kid played in a triple threat against each other. But this is the first time we're having teammates in this new era go up against each other.
no, it's not. We had Merle and Bateman at the beginning of the year.
Well, no, they're faction mates, but they're not like it's not like
Oh,
Roka.
okay. Gotcha. Now I know.
That's what I mean. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be interesting. Honestly, I don't think there's gonna be any like barbs thrown back and forths at these guys. I really don't.
No, I think and Chance and Mike and Shannon, honestly, all three of them really hit the nail on the head where they everyone was talking about like what's going to happen because we saw the slow train wreck that was Management Gate before Atlanta. And they're just like, it's all love. It's all love here.
Yeah.
And I think it just shows what not having, and as much as some people like to say it, like that Mike has a massive ego and stuff, and that Chance is super cocky. When it comes to team, they have no ego here, and they're like, it will be like the end of they. Neither one of them said it, but it will be like the end of Warriors. No matter what, Shannon's going to raise both of their hands at the end of the fight.
100%. It's one of those instances where like the best teammates are those who support each other. No matter how big the ego. Again, wrestling reference. Look at the 1980s. Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard. Tully Blanchard, one of the most arrogant heels you will ever see. You could argue he's like Mike Kalinowski in a way in that sense. But when it came to him and his teammates, he was hands down a team player. Like he knew what to do, and they won titles because of it. Now, granted, wrestling is scripted, but still. And
just look back to the promo that Mike's giving in the beginning of this match, where Harloff's asking him, "So what do you think about facing Damon?" And the first thing out of his mouth is, "Well, the big story at this whole tournament is Chance. Look at that guy! Isn't he doing awesome?" And Mike and Chance in his post game they're like, "Hey, is it a little bittersweet that you're gonna have to take down Mike?" And Chance is like, "You know what? I owe everything I am in the Schmoedown to Mike. He brought me in. He did this. He did that." And it's like these two are just so perfect. And what a Cinderella story! Truly, a Cinderella story for Korruption. 2 months ago or 3 months ago, we're talking about, you know what? Korruption's done. It doesn't matter. They got it. They have the team's title match, but like, will that be enough? And now we're looking at them, and with this, they're in second place with a guaranteed 4 more points. Now, I believe my math is correct here, where they will be up with like 27 points at the end of the next match. So not quite Finstock Exchange numbers because they're at 29 points, but massive numbers going from what they were at before, which was like 4 points from one win before, to they're the hero, or they're the heroes who are going to come down and take down the Finstock Exchange.
Yep. No, you're not wrong. I do remember saying earlier in the year, like, yeah, their record is terrible. That's because their big guns haven't played. Well, now their big guns have played, and they're firing on all cylinders. So, yeah, the climb they've had in the last couple of weeks is amazing. Now, do you think that propels Shannon into the conversation for Manager of the Year?
Oh, that... See, that's interesting. That's an
I personally
interesting
still
thing.
think it's Winston's award. That's just me, but it's interesting. Her chances definitely have increased.
Here's what I would say then. I think it really comes down to the Chandru Smets match. Okay. If Chandru loses to Smets, and but now you see he's still got final exam that's playing as well. If they can beat, I think she's definitely propelled herself. She's hurdled over Koi and Kaiser and is up there with. Roxy, yeah. I think it's a 3-horse race right now between Gucci, her, and Winston. I think Kate has had a lot of great success as a manager, but she's also, I think, a lot of her high-profile losses have come down to management mistakes, and she has said that herself. I think that she's definitely up there now, though.
Now, the reason I think Winston still has it in locks is he took Ace, an unknown, to the finals, and if Ace wins the title match, son of a bitch, it's it. Might as well just give him the award right there.
Well, but here's the thing:
he managed the guy that unseated the longest reigning champion.
That's true, but if you imagine though, Chance gets to the finals of the singles tournament, or Mike gets to the finals of the singles tournament, then if she can have a strong run in singles, even if they don't win the tournament, I think it's going to be tough. Winston, I think, needs Chandru to dethrone Smets and final exam to get to that number 1 contenders match against Who's the Boss.
Okay.
Just because I think that she's got a lot of momentum on her side right now. Mm. Where Winston's kind of waiting in the wings.
Yeah, but Winston's also been more consistent, too.
That's true.
So I think that plays in his favor. He's been more consistent this year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, man, I did not expect Rookie of the Year, Manager of the Year. I didn't expect all this to come up. Okay. We only have a couple more minutes here.
Yeah.
If you had to vote right now, who is Player of the Year? Is it Ace?
Yeah, he's got a strong argument for it. Going 4-0 in Star Wars. Nobody, not even the champ, has done that to start off his career.
No. See, I think after this week, I have to give it to Chance.
Yeah, he's got a good case.
Yeah, a team's win where he outperforms the Godfather, and this amazing IG run where he came in with a losing record and everyone expected him to lose to Oyama or to lose to Parker or to lose to the Barbarian. I think it's just... But then again, I guess Ace, we said that from Quevedo on.
Yeah, exactly. It's very interesting how the two tournaments married each other in that sense. Mm-hmm. Now, right now it's between those two, but we still have another tournament to go, and we could definitely have another Cinderella story in that tournament as well.
Yeah, it would be crazy. I would love to see, as much as I don't believe it, and this is true. I'd love to see someone from one of the play-in games make an ace run. Amazing. Like, could you imagine Adam Collins? That's another member of Korruption. Makes the run all the way through the tournament. I'd love to see it.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, that's what I love about tournament season, and we're just a week away now, or 2 weeks.
No, you're not wrong. Tournament season, we've had so many memorable memories. Stacey Howard beating Baby Carrots, and if I'm not mistaken, what was his last match ever?
I think he played Snyder after that.
Okay, fair enough. But she also did to Mark Riley. And then you've had the Harris brothers a couple of years ago and going all the way to the finals. That's the thing about these tournaments. You're always in for a treat.
You really are. And as the IG tournament comes to almost its close, we got one more match next week. Yeah. Do you have any more thoughts before we close out the show, Soda?
Other than I know the matches are pre-taped, so I want that match tomorrow.
Oh my God, I know, right?
Yeah. I'm salivating at the thought.
The fact that we're definitely going to have to wait till Friday is going to kill me.
Yep.
But you know what?
What's that?
If you're salivating for the match, you know what you could do?
What's that?
You could watch Schmoedown Night in Canada every Saturday.
Yeah, and if you haven't voted for us as Podcasts of the Year at this point, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, well, if you don't, I'm not going to hold it against you. I will be sad. I will be sad, though.
I'm not going to pull up Jay and Silent Bob and fly to all your houses and beat the shit out of you. I'm not that rich.
And with that, I think we're gonna end the show.
Yeah. So, Dave, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Lees Me Alone, on Instagram at Baby James Lees, and over at Jack of All Trivia, hosting the franchise King of the Mountain matches. Some great stuff happening over there. Check it out.
Damn right. And you can find me, as usual, at soda_the_saxman, both Instagram, Twitter, over at the Media Sweaties Network, running their trivia. That's their Twitter app. Next month, that's when we're going to be dropping that something special that I've been teasing. We're definitely ramping up towards that. Otherwise, you can find me all weekend lying on my couch, trying not to move and whimper like a little wuss, because turns out when you fall and elbow yourself in the ribs, it really hurts. And on that note, time to bid y'all adieu. Have a good night, folks.
Have a good night.